Hi everyone, it's me Oля here. Welcome to my channel. In this video we are going to talk about imperatives in Ukrainian. But before we start learning, I would like to quickly remind you that if you haven't yet and you would like to, you can also find me and follow me on my other social media. You will find the names to all of them here and links to them down below in the description box. Also, if you enjoy my content and would like to support my channel, so maybe hopefully in the future I can do more, you can support me on my Patreon. The link to my Patreon you can find down below as well. And now we can finally start learning. So imperatives. We use the verbs in imperative mood when we are telling somebody or asking or begging or recommending or ordering to do something. Okay? For instance, listen, right? Слухай in Ukrainian. Go. Іди. Go away. Іди геть. Eat. Їж, etc. In Ukrainian, imperative mood means наказовий спосіб. Наказовий спосіб. Наказовий спосіб. Imperative mood. And наказовий comes from the word наказ, an order, or the verb наказувати. Наказувати, to order somebody to do something. Okay, so наказовий спосіб we use when we are telling or ordering somebody to do something. And the verbs in imperative mood we call дієслова наказового способу. Дієслова наказового способу, or simply imperatives. That's what I'm going to call them in the video. So how do we make imperatives and when do we use them? Okay, so in Ukrainian, imperatives exist for second person singular. You in English, ты in Ukrainian. Secondly, first person plural or we or мы in Ukrainian, okay? Ты, you, singular, мы, we, plural, first person, and second person plural or вы, okay? Ты, мы, and вы. These are the pronouns that can be combined with the verbs of imperative mood. Okay, so how do we create an imperative? First of all, we have a verb. We must look for a form of this verb in the third person singular in the present tense, okay? For instance, let's take he, він, okay? Or вона, or воно, okay? That's the pronoun we are looking for. And the verb must be in present tense. So we take this third person verb, remove the ending that we have, add a new ending, and that's how we get our imperative. Might sound a bit complicated, especially considering the fact that we will have two sets of endings and we need to know which one to choose. But now I suggest that we figure out the grammar, and the last half of the video is going to be practice. We are going to practice a lot in this video. Okay, so we are left with the stem without an ending of the third person of the verb for the present tense for the third person singular. What kind of endings we will have? Two sets of endings. The first set of endings is и for ты, імо for ми, and іть for ви. Okay? И, імо, іть. These are the new ending of the first set. When are we going to use those endings? When we have a stem that ends in two consonants in a row, or when we know that our ending is going to be under stress, is going to be stressed. You are going to tell me now, okay, so how we as language learners should be guessing this, like whether it will be stressed or it will not be stressed, because two consonants in a row we can spot, we are able to spot it. But how do we know whether the stress will be on the ending or no? There is no way. to know. This is rather a clue for people who are more or less familiar with Ukrainian language, and for native speakers, obviously. So if you don't know that, if you don't understand that, then just take it as it is. There can be two possible sets of endings. It's either one or another one. Hopefully the practice will help you figure this out. So again, the endings of the first set are imo, іть. Let's take a verb писати. Писати means to write. Third person singular of the present tense is пише. Okay, він пише, right? Вона пише. Пише. Remove the ending, the stem would be пиш. Пиш. And now it's very easy, we need to just add the endings. And we will have пиши, пишімо, or пишіть. Okay? Ти пиши, you write. Ми for we. Пишімо, let's write. And ви пишіть, you plural, write. Пишіть. Пиши, пишімо, пишіть. Now let's take another instance. The verb ходити. Ходити means to go or to walk. Ходити. Third person singular of the present tense is ходить. Він ходить, вона ходить. Ходить, okay? Remove it, our stem is ход. Now our task is to add the endings, okay? So we will have ходи, ходімо, and ходіть, okay? Ти, you, singular, ходи, ми, us, we, ходімо, or let's go, ходімо, and you, plural, ходіть, ви, ходіть. To sit. Сидіти. Сидіти. Third person singular of the present tense is сидить. Він сидить, вона сидить, воно сидить. Remove it. Our stem is сид. Okay? Now let's add endings. Сиди, сидімо, сидіть. Ти сиди, ми сидімо, ви сидіть. Сидіть тихо. Something a teacher could ask a class. Сидіть тихо. You sit quietly. You plural. Сидіть тихо. So that's what I was talking about. In all of these verbs, the ending is stressed. Пиши, сиди, ходи. The stress goes on the last vowel A, the ending, okay? That's why we used the endings of the first set. And the second case when we use this first set is when our stem ends in two consonants in a row. Let's take a look at this example. Verbs like that you will not meet very often, but still they exist. They should be considered. So for instance, the verb креслити. Креслити. Креслити means to draw or to make a draft. I think that's the thing. When you are drawing the plan of the building. Креслити. Okay? So third person singular present tense is креслить. Okay? We remove it and our stem is кресл. S and L are two consonants in a row. That's why we use the endings of the first set. So кресли, креслімо, кресліть. Ти кресли, ми креслімо, and ви кресліть. So you see every second imperative in this set of three that I'm giving you. The one that has to do with ми, ходімо, пишімо, сидімо, слухаймо, креслімо. All these words have English equivalent, a phrase that begins with let's, okay? So, ходімо, in English, let's go. Зробімо, let's do. Слухаймо, let's listen. Сидімо, let's sit, etc. And also another extra small case when we use the endings of the first set for imperatives. It is with the verbs that have prefix ви, Again, but if it is stressed, okay, if this prefix v takes the stress on itself. For instance, the verb vynesti. Vynesti means to take out or to carry something out. Vynesti. Third person singular is vynese. And here, some of you who are careful and attentive might tell me, well, yeah, but vynese means future. He or she will take away. Vynese. And you will be correct. The thing is that the verb vynesti is perfective, is of perfective aspect. Again, if you are not familiar with perfective aspect, I strongly recommend you to be familiar with it before you watch this video. I will leave the link for you somewhere here, okay? And you know, if you watch that video carefully, you know that perfective for present tense, it just doesn't exist, okay? Because in Ukrainian it doesn't make sense. So in a way, for perfective verbs, we are going to use future for the third person singular. Semantically, it doesn't work for us because it has the meaning of the future, but grammatically, it does its job, okay? So that's what we do, what we have to do. We don't have the present tense for perfective. So vynese, and our imperatives would be vynesi, vynesimo, and винесіть. Винеси сміття, будь ласка. Take out the trash, please, or the garbage, please. Винеси, ти винеси, ми винесімо, and ви, was you plural, винесіть. And there is the second case of endings, which we use in all the other cases. So again, we have ти, ми, and ви. So for ти, we are going to have zero ending, but if the stem ends in one of dental consonants, which in Ukrainian are d, t, z, s, ц, l, and n. Basically, dental consonants are the consonants that we must use our teeth for creating, okay? So if in the end of the stem we have one of the dental consonants, then we must add a soft sign, м'який знак. Dental consonants should be softened for imperatives. In the end of the stem, of course, obviously. For ми, мо, and for ви, you plural, те. Okay, so zero ending or soft sign if we have a dental consonant, мо or soft sign мо, and те or soft sign те, whenever the soft sign is needed. Whenever we have a dental consonant in the end of the stem. Wow, I'm repeating this for so many times because I feel like theoretically it sounds a bit complicated, but now on practice you are going to see that it's not that hard. So let us take the verb вставати. Вставати. Вставати means to stand up. Again, perfective, so again we are going to use the future-ish form for the third person singular. Встане. Remove ending e, our stem will be встан. N is a dental consonant, therefore we will add soft sign. So ти встань, stand up, встань. Ми встаньмо, let's stand up, встаньмо. And you plural, встаньте, встаньте. Okay, встань, встаньмо, встаньте. Let's take another verb, ставити. Ставити. Ставити means to put something, but to put something in sort of standing position. Ставити. So the third person singular present tense is ставить. Ставить. Remove it, our stem is став. Став. V is not a dental consonant, so we will not need any softening here, okay? Nor soft sign, no м'який знак. Just add endings. Ти став. Ми ставмо. Ви, you plural, ставте. Став, ставмо, ставте. Another thing, again in this unit with the second set of the endings, you might find interesting is that we have some verbs like знати, чекати, співати, etc. that they are third person singular form ends in ye. Okay? Він знає, вона знає, він чекає, він співає, вона співає, etc. Okay? It ends in ye. And ye is an interesting letter, okay? It consists of two sounds, y plus e, okay? So when we remove the ending to get the stem, we only remove the e, okay? And y stays in a stem. So the imperatives for знати, знає, a third person singular present tense, will be знай, zero ending, is gone, sort of in an ending, but y stays in stem. Знаймо, ми знаємо, знайте, знай, знаймо, знайте. To wait, чекати, but third person singular of the present tense is чекає, right? Він чекає. So we have чекай, чекаймо, чекайте. Співати, to sing, співає, third person singular of the present tense. So співай, співаймо, співайте. And the last thing for the grammar part for today is reciprocal and reflexive verbs. You know that in Ukrainian those guys end in ся or с. Okay, if you have a verb that ends in ся or с, you know that it's either reciprocal or reflexive. So what do we do with those kind of verbs? Good news, exactly the same thing that we did to all of the other verbs. But before, just remove ся, then do everything that I told you to do with the verb and add ся to the final result, okay? Now, as we practice, you will see how it works. So the practice part, what am I going to do right now? I am going to tell you the verb, its translation obviously, and the third person singular of the present tense or the future tense when we have perfective. And then at this very moment, after I told you the third person singular, you can either just go with me and see the imperatives, or you can press the pause button, do the 3 imperatives, and press play and check whether you did it right or no. So choose whatever suits you, it is up to you. Each of these ways is good for learning. I prepared 70 verbs for you for this video. So yeah, the journey is going to be long, so without further ado, let's start practicing. To wash means мити, мити. Third person singular present tense is миє, миє. So now you can either press the pause and do the imperatives by yourself, or I am telling you the imperatives. Мий, миймо, мийте. Next one, to sit, сидіти. Third person singular present tense, сидить, сидить. Remove it, add endings, do the imperative, and the imperatives are сиди, сидімо, сидіть. If you did it right, I congratulate you. If you made a mistake, do not worry, we have plenty more to practice. To listen, слухати, слухати, third person singular, слухає, слухає. And the imperatives are слухай, слухаймо, слухайте. To run, бігати, бігати, third person singular, бігає, present tense, бігає. And our imperatives are бігай, бігаймо, бігайте. To wait, чекати, чекати. Third person singular present tense, чекає, чекає. And imperatives are чекай, чекаймо, чекайте. To expect, очікувати, очікувати. Third person, очікує, очікує. And the imperatives are очікуй, очікуймо, очікуйте. To draw, малювати, малювати. Third person, малює. Imperatives, малюй, малюймо, малюйте. To give, дати, дати. Third person, дає. And the imperatives, дай, даймо, дайте. To take, брати, брати. Third person, бере, бере. And the imperatives are бери, берімо, беріть. To lie, брехати, брехати. Third person, бреше, бреше. And the imperatives are бреши, брешімо, брешіть. To go, to walk, ходити, ходити. Third person singular of the present tense is ходить, ходить. So the imperatives are ходи, ходімо, ходіть. To go by transportation, їхати, їхати. The third person singular, їде, їде. So our imperatives are їдь, їдьмо, їдьте. Їдьте звідси. Get out of here. Go away. To turn, повернути, повернути. And because it's perfective, our third person will have the meaning of a future but look like present. Поверне, поверне. So our imperatives are поверни, повернімо, поверніть. To buy, купувати, купувати. Third person, купує, купує. So the imperatives, купуй, купуймо, купуйте. But when we have a perfective, купити, купити, the third person will be купить, the one that feels like future, but grammatically works for us. Купить. The imperatives would be купи, купімо, купіть. Okay? Купуй, купуйте, купуймо, or for imperfective, but for perfective, купи, купімо, купіть. So as you can see, the aspect perfective or imperfective should be considered when it comes to imperatives as well. To tell, to give a clue, means підказати, підказати. Підкаже is the third person. Again, because it's perfective, sounds like future. I will not repeat this ever again. I will just mention when we are dealing with perfective. So the imperatives are підкажи, підкажімо, and підкажіть. To read, читати, читати. Читає is our third person. Читає. So the imperatives are читай, читаймо, читайте. To write, писати, писати. Third person singular of the present tense. Пише, пише. Imperatives are пиши, пишімо, and пишіть. To drink, пити. Third person, п'є. And the imperatives would be пий, пиймо, пийте. To eat, їсти. Here imperatives are rather exceptional, so I don't think you will get it right unless you know. So the third person singular is їсть, but the imperatives are їж, їжмо, and їжте. To sleep, спати, third person спить, and the imperatives are спи, спімо, and спіть. To come back, повернутися, again, perfective. So повернеться is the third person, and the imperatives are повернись, повернімось, and поверніться. I hope you didn't forget to remove ся before doing the things you have to do, and then added it back. To pay, платити, платити, third person singular of the present tense is платить, платить. So we have плати, платімо, and платіть. To say, казати, казати, third person каже, каже. Imperatives, кажи, кажімо, кажіть. To look, дивитись or дивитися. Third person дивиться, дивиться. Don't forget to remove ся before doing anything to the verb. And so our imperatives are дивись, дивімось, дивіться. To think means думати, думати. Third person думає, думає. Imperatives думай, думаймо, думайте. To speak говорити, говорити. Third person говорить, говорить. Imperatives говори, говорімо, говоріть. To know знати, знати. Third person знає, знає. Imperatives are знай, знаємо, and знайте. To dance танцювати, танцювати. Third person танцює, and the imperatives are танцюй, танцюймо, танцюйте. To laugh сміятися. Again, the ся verb, don't forget to remove ся. Сміятися means to laugh. Third person, present tense. Сміється, сміється. So, смійся, сміймося, смійтеся. Don't laugh, не смійтеся. To prepare, готувати, готувати. Third person, present tense, singular, готує, готує. And the imperatives are готуй, готуймо, готуйте. To rejoice, радіти, радіти. Third person, радіє, радіє. And the imperatives are радій, радіймо, радійте. Пустити, пустити. Пустити means to let in, to let somebody in. It is perfective. So the third person we will use пустить, пустить. And the imperatives are пусти, пустімо, пустіть. Пустіть переночувати. Let me in to stay for the night. Пустіть переночувати. Випустити, випустити. Випустити is the opposite of пустити. It means to let out. Again, perfective. So third person singular would be випустить, випустить. And our imperatives are випусти, випустімо, випустіть. Випустіть мене, випустіть. Let me out. Open the door, відкрийте двері, випустіть мене. To help, допомогти, допомогти. So the third person singular is допоможе, again perfective. So допоможи, допоможімо, допоможіть. Right? Допоможи мені, будь ласка. Help me, please. Допоможи, допоможімо, допоможіть. And you might know the phrase допоможіть, help. So here that's where it came from. To open, відкрити, відкрити, third person відкриє, again because perfective. So відкриє. So our imperatives are відкрий, відкриймо and відкрийте. To close, закрити, закрити, third person, закриє, закриє, perfective, again. Imperatives are закрий, закриймо and закрийте. To make sure, переконатися, 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 again, perfective. So third person, переконається, переконається. And the imperatives, переконайся, переконаймося, переконайтеся. Спочатку переконайся, що все гаразд. At first, make sure that everything is okay. Спочатку переконайся, що все гаразд. Переконайся, make sure. Перевірити, перевірити. Again, perfective. Перевірити. Third person singular is перевірить, перевірить. So our imperatives, I'll give you the clue, it's the second set of endings. And we are dealing with a consonant that isn't dental. Okay? So our imperatives are перевір, перевірмо, перевірте. To believe means вірити, вірити. Third person singular present tense is вірить, вірить. Вір, вірмо, вірте. To do, to make means робити, робити. Third person singular present tense робить, робить. Imperatives роби, робімо, робіть. Робіть висновки. Make conclusions. Робіть висновки. Вивчати. Вивчати. Вивчати means to study or to learn. A third person singular present tense. Вивчає. Вивчає. So the imperatives are вивчай, вивчаймо and вивчайте. Пробачити. Пробачити means to forgive. Third person singular, futurish because perfective, is пробачить. Пробачить. So our imperatives are пробач, пробачмо or пробачте. And that is where the word excuse me or sorry comes from. Пробачте. Or also вибачити is to forgive. So вибачить, again perfective. So our imperatives are вибач, вибачмо and вибачте. So пробачте and вибачте are nothing but imperative mood for the verb to forgive. Забути means to forget. Забути. Забути. Again, it's perfective, so the third person singular would be забуде. Забуде. So the imperative is забудь. Забудьмо. Забудьте. Згадати. To remember. To mention. Again, because it's perfective, our third person would be згадає. Згадає. And the imperatives are згадай, згадаймо, згадайте. Плакати, плакати means to cry. Плаче is a third person, singular of a present tense. Плаче. Плач, плачмо, плачте. Дратувати. Дратувати means to annoy. Дратувати. Third person, singular present tense, дратує. Дратує. Дратуй. Дратуймо, дратуйте. Прийти means to come. Прийти. Прийти. And прийде is the third person singular because it's perfective. Прийди, прийдімо and прийдіть. Перекладати means to translate. Перекладати. Third person перекладає. Перекладає, перекладай, перекладаймо, перекладайте. To take rest, to have rest, відпочивати, відпочивати. And third person, відпочиває. Відпочиває. So the imperatives are відпочивай, відпочиваймо and відпочивайте. Працювати means to work. Працювати. Third person працює. Працює. So we have працюй. Працюймо. Працюйте. Любити. Любити means to love. Любить. Third person. Любить. So the imperatives are люби, любімо, любіть. Любіть Україну, як сонце любіть, як вітер і трави і води. There is this famous poetry by Ukrainian poet Василь Симоненко called Любіть Україну. Means love Ukraine. Поважати. Поважати means to respect. Third person поважає. Поважає. Поважай. Поважаймо. Поважайте. Поважайте наші кордони. Respect our borders. Поважайте наші кордони. You plural. Поважайте. Сумувати means to be sad. Сумувати. Third person, present tense. Сумує. Сумує. So the imperatives are сумуй. Сумуймо. Сумуйте. So don't be sad. Не сумуй. Не сумуй. Кричати. Кричати means to shout, to scream. Кричати. Third person, кричить. Кричить. So the imperative is кричи, кричімо, кричіть. So don't scream. Не кричіть. Мовчати. To keep silence. Мовчати. Мовчить is our third person. Мовчить. Мовчи. Мовчімо. Мовчіть. Сподіватись or сподіватися. To hope. Сподіватися. Third person singular present tense is сподівається. Сподівається. Сподівайся. Сподіваймося. Сподівайтеся. Дивитися. Дивитися means to look or to watch. Дивитися. Okay? Ся, don't forget about ся. Don't let it confuse you. Remove it and then put it back. Дивитися. Дивиться is third person. Дивися. Дивімося and дивіться. Заходити means to enter or to come in. Заходити. Заходить is third person. Заходить. So the imperatives are заходь, заходьмо, заходьте. That was imperfective, but if we take perfective, зайти also means to come in. Our third person will have the futuristic meaning. Зайде. Okay? So, зайде. So the imperatives would be зайди, зайдімо, and зайдіть. So imperfective would be заходь, заходьмо, заходьте. And perfective зайди, зайдімо, зайдіть. Палити. To smoke or to burn something. Палити. Палить. Third person. Палить. Okay, so пали, палімо, паліть. Не паліть тут. Don't smoke here. Не паліть. Погодитися. To agree. It's perfective. Погодитися. Погодиться is a third person. Погодиться. So we have погодься, погодьмося and погодьтеся. Зраджувати. Зраджувати means to betray or to cheat in a relationship. Зраджувати. And the third person is зраджує. Зраджує. Okay, so we have зраджуй, зраджуймо, зраджуйте. That's imperfective. Let's take perfective. Зрадити. Зрадити. Also to betray or to cheat. Зрадить is third person. Зрадь, зрадьмо, and зрадьте. Знаходити. Знаходити. Знаходити means to find. Знаходить is our third person. Знаходить. Знаходь, знаходьмо, знаходьте. That's imperfective. Let's take perfective. Let's have fun. Знайти means to find in perfective aspect. Знайти. So знайде is our third person. Знайде. So the imperatives are знайди, знайдімо and знайдіть. Загубити, загубити. Загубити means to lose. Загубить is third person singular. Again, it's perfective. Загубить, загубить. So the imperatives are загуби, загубімо, загубіть. Ламати, ламати. Ламати means to break. Ламає is a third person. Ламає. Ламай, ламаймо, ламайте. Ламаймо стару систему. Let's break the old system. Ламаймо. Подзвонити. Подзвонити. Подзвонити means to make a call. It is also perfective, so подзвонить is a third person. Подзвонить. Подзвонить. Подзвони, подзвонімо, подзвоніть. Подзвоніть мені завтра. Call me tomorrow. Смажити. Смажити means to fry. Смажити. Смажить is third person. Смажить. So we will have смаж, смажмо, смажте. Бути. Бути means to be. Буде is our third person. So we will have будь, будьмо and будьте. Будьте ласкаві, okay? Be so gentle. That's another way to say please. Будьте ласкаві. Відвідати. Відвідати. Perfective. To visit. Third person. Відвідає. Відвідає. Відвідай, відвідаймо, відвідайте. Спробувати. Спробувати. To try. To give it a try. Perfective. Спробує. Спробує. Third person. Спробуй. Спробуймо. Спробуйте. Почати. To begin. Почати. Third person. Почне. Почне. Perfective. So the imperatives are почни, почнімо, почніть. Почнімо наш урок. Let's begin our lesson. But imperfective is починати, починати. So починає is third person. Починає. So the imperatives are починай, починаймо, починайте. Відмовитися to refuse. Відмовитися. Perfective. Відмовитися. Відмовиться are third person. Відмовиться. Відмовся. Відмовмося. Відмовтеся. To dream. Мріяти. Мріяти. Third person singular present tense. Мріє. Мріє. Again, remember about є. Мріє. The imperatives are мрій. Мріймо. Мрійте. To measure means міряти. Міряти. Міряє is the third person singular. Міряє. Міряй. Міряймо. Міряйте. To cut means різати. Різати. Third person ріже. Ріже. Imperative. Ріж. Ріжмо. Ріжте. Закінчувати. Закінчувати is to finish, to end. Закінчує. Third person. Закінчує. Imperative. Закінчуй. Закінчуймо. Закінчуйте. Займатися. To go in for something. Займатися. Third person. Займається. Займається. Imperatives. Займайся. Займаймося. Займайтеся. Позбутися. To get rid of. Позбутися. Perfective. So позбудеться is a third person. Позбудеться. Imperatives. Позбудься. Позбудьмося. Позбудьтеся. Зізнатися. To confess. Зізнатися. Again, perfective. So зізнається is a third person. Зізнається. Imperatives. Зізнайся. Зізнаймося. Зізнайтеся. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you didn't. If you have any interesting video ideas, please do let me know, because I'm always looking for ideas. Additionally, thank you very much. Щиро дякую to all my patrons who are supporting me. It really means a lot. So yeah, I'm ending my video here, and I will see you in my next video, hopefully very soon. Bye!